entire world is being really smart.
Welcome to Smart is Sexy, the podcast where we discuss self-development, growth, business, spirituality, and becoming a smarter, sexier human. I am your host, Kelsi.
Hi guys, I'm Celeste. Welcome to our show. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe right now, leave us a review, and send to a friend.
Yes. Honestly, like just send to everybody that you've ever met in your life. Strangers in the grocery store.
Just tell everyone about the show. We're doing clips on Instagram now, so you get to see our little faces.
Our TikTok is popping.
Yeah. It's on its way. All right, you guys. Well, today we're discussing why nothing in life has any meaning except what we assign it. And we're going to start off with my favorite story of all time. Kelsi's favorite story of all time as well.
I also feel like there's a small possibility that we did discuss this in season 1.
Okay.
But like, you know what? That was so long ago.
If I don't remember, you might not either.
But it's going to be great because I feel like we'll get a refresher. Things like that are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. First things first. Oh my God, we haven't filmed in 2 weeks. So we really need like a good news minute and like
Something.
I don't know. We need like something. It's been 2 weeks since our last episode.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go first.
With your good news minute.
Yeah,
okay.
I have 2 good news minutes.
That's great because we haven't filmed. So.
My first one is that we're now on YouTube. Like our very first YouTube video has gone up. It's our episode with Austin Mills, our first guest. So go on, check it out. Smart is Sexy. It's our YouTube channel. It's like very cool. And I'm like, we have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's so funny because we have been talking about putting videos on YouTube for so long. And for the longest time, I guess there was something that we just didn't feel like YouTubers. Like we didn't feel like the people to do it.
Oh my gosh, we're YouTubers.
Right. And I think the reason that we are now is because we hired a team to now like edit and shoot and post all of our stuff. So now when clips go on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, we don't put them up. Our team puts them up.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we could have been doing this all along.
Yes.
We just didn't feel like YouTubers or content people. And so now we are because other people decided for us and we were like, okay.
I mean, it's very cool. So you guys go check out, I mean, if you haven't listened to the Austin Mills episode, you can listen to it on audio, obviously, but if you want, you can go stare at us for an hour.
Yeah, you can.
So that's really exciting because it's kind of like a new phase of Smart is Sexy, the podcast. It's fun. Like it's cool. It's a cool thing. Like
Smart is Sexy's growing up.
Yeah, like we can be like, I have a YouTube channel. Go check it out. Oh, that sounds so weird.
That's so weird.
Yeah, that's strange. But my second good news minute is that I bought an NFT, which for anyone who knows me, you know that that is weird because I think NFTs are weird.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of stupid. I know I have to get on board. I'm very aware that I have to that's the direction we're heading in. But John Dutton would never.
No. And you have just always been like, you're more OG. You're more like,
I just
fucking NFT.
I hate honestly, like, I don't really like TikTok.
Wow, OG is a good way to describe you. You are more OG.
I don't really like, and I know I can't be because I'm still like, I feel it's weird because I feel like I'm 30. So I feel like I'm in that phase of like, I'm not old enough to hate social media and tech, but I'm not young enough to be obsessed with it. Like I'm just like right in that middle phase.
Yeah.
And so it's like I have to get on board. I know I do.
I don't think it has to do with your age. I think you're just the type of person you like real life experience. You like presence. You like nature. Like I don't really think it has anything to do with being 30. I think it has to do with you like to be somewhere and feel something and like experience things. That's just who you are as a person.
Yes.
You've never really been like obsessed with like the digital world. You don't really care for social media.
No, I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram because I have to be. I'm on TikTok because I have to be. But you guys, if you guys went and looked at my TikTok, you'd be like, "What are you doing?" Like sometimes they're like, "I'm like, here's a bunch of pictures of my food." Like,
No, same. My TikToks, I'm like, who made this? Like
No.
I actually looked the other day. I was like, what is this?
and there's a lot of pressure
Yeah.
for a younger generation to like, or for anyone, I guess, who owns a business or wants to be relevant. There's a lot of pressure to be on all different social media platforms. And so I struggle with that a lot because I just don't care.
Yeah.
But I did buy my first NFT, and the only reason I even did it was because my man's was like, I just bought a shoe that you run with. Like basically you buy this NFT shoe and you earn your money back by running. And I was like, oh, well, I can do that. Like that also would also like encourage me to be outside. And then I'm like, then I lose weight. And that is so I earn money and lose weight. That
And you
seems
like being outside.
Yes. So I was like, this seems like a win-win for me. So I bought my first NFT. It's very strange. But it's kind of fun because it's like the app's like a game. So the app is called Stepn, STEPN, and you have to like have a code. I just like download Discord. I don't even know what Discord is.
Yeah.
There's just like so many things. So he like walked me through the whole process of buying this thing. I mean, he probably felt like my girlfriend is ancient. Like, how does she not know how to do this?
It's such a new territory.
It's so strange, but I did buy it. I was very hyped. The shoe's like kind of ugly, but you had to buy it based off of like certain stats, not like the way it looked.
So there's only one shoe?
No, there's all different kinds of shoes, but you don't choose your shoe based off the way it looks. You buy it based off of like certain stats that it has. Okay. It's very confusing.
And how much is the shoe?
So it varies. Okay. So I bought mine for $825.
Of course you did.
But that price depends, like that was a low price. You can buy shoes, there's shoes on the app up to like $75,000.
Jesus Christ.
So it's wild. I'm still learning, but apparently a friend of his bought his shoe, like the lowest price he bought his was for $1,300. So the prices of the shoe vary depending on how crypto's going.
Okay.
I'm learning so much and I feel like an idiot sometimes when I have to ask questions. I'm thinking, should I just know this? But it's really hard. So I bought, now shoes are even cheaper because like like crypto's crashing, in case anyone's, wondering what's going on in the crypto world, because I'm
depending on when you listen to this episode.
But yeah, so like the shoe is cheaper depending on how crypto's going. The price of the shoe goes up or down.
Okay, cool.
So I bought my first shoe. It's not that cute.
I love that for you.
Because I buy shoes based off of cuteness.
Yeah. They're not Amina's.
No, this shoe is not Amina. There's no red bottom. There's not like the shoe is. It's just a shoe. But I earn money running. And so if I feel like I make my money back on the NFT and I'm going to lose some weight.
Okay, I love that. I'm honestly going to buy one and join the club. I think that's the power of social pressure, because now I want one.
Yeah. No,
I think this is why NFTs work. because like,
you feel the pressure.
You feel like, oh, I want to do that too. Yeah. I think that's like all they really have going for them.
I don't really
maybe
understand
not all,
like the crypto punk or the crypto monkey. I never like really got the.
I don't know anything about any of this.
Because then everyone was like posting their crypto monkey as their like their Instagram little picture, and I was like, why did you do that? The monkey's ugly.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this world, so I'm like a very bad person to ask.
All I know is that I bought the shoe, I earned money to run, and then and that's all I know.
I feel all right. Love
so
that for you.
But I feel really excited about it because I feel like I am in the world.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, like I have to have two also then, because you had two. I have to have two.
Well, you should have a shoe.
Well, no, I have to get a shoe, but I meant a good news minute.
Oh, you need two good news minutes.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Right? Just to match.
Well, I mean, you don't want me to one-up you.
Okay, well, I have two in that case. One was that I took a really cute pottery class with my mom for Mother's Day. We made like vases. Well, we attempted. It was really hard for like Mother's Day flowers. And we went to Bitterroot, but their new location, which is beautiful.
Where's their new location at?
Culver City. And it's like 3 times the size of their OG location, and it's just so pretty. And so we sat there for 2 hours and did pottery, and it was so fun. I actually really like pottery.
Did they teach you how to make the vase?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's same as taking like a normal class. It was just like instead of when you take a normal beginner's class, you make a bowl, and then this one was a Mother's Day special, so you make a vase.
We have gone 2 times for a class, and we've had to make bowls 2 times. My bowls don't ever turn out the same. It's weird. Like
same.
They just, and it's not like because I want them to turn out differently. It's just that's just the form that they take.
Agreed. And it's annoying because I really want to be good at it because it's so therapeutic.
Yeah.
Like to just sit there. If I was good at it, hypothetically, I would go sit with my little headphones and my little apron, and I would, do my pottery. It's just so therapeutic to sit there and to just throw clay. I'm not good at it though, because every time I go, they have to come give me a new piece of clay halfway through because I fucked it up. Every time without fail. But anyway, so that was one of them.
Okay.
So that was a great time. And then my second one was I saw a movie that I just absolutely loved. I saw Everything Everywhere.
Oh, you did?
I saw it. And everyone needs to go see this movie. Like, I'm not getting paid to say that, but it is the best thing ever. It's like almost like our generation's version of The Matrix, sort of.
Okay.
Kind of, because it's like very spiritual, like the meaning behind it, but it's also so funny and like so entertaining. But it's just such a good reminder. I mean, it also, I don't know, it depends on like, I guess your beliefs and like how you take it and like what your knowledge is of like spirituality and all sorts of things. But it's basically just about like having infinite realities and how like you change your feedback loop can change your reality, and how like, nothing really matters, and how we just assign a lot of like random meaning to things, which is what this episode is about. So it's so good. You need to see it. I'll honestly go again if you want to go see it, because it was so good.
No, I really, really want to see it.
Yeah.
I've heard from multiple people that it's a must see, that it's incredible.
It
so
is.
I'm definitely down to go.
I'm down to go again.
Have a cozy vibe, get some raisinets,
Yes, that's a must.
maybe a pretzel.
Delicious.
Wow. I'm like really planning my whole
We
meal.
bring every episode back to food. It's my specialty in life.
I love food.
It's my personal brand.
I feel
at
like
this
in
point.
another world, I should have been a food critic, but then I started Viper, so.
Yeah, we played ourselves on that.
Damn.
But we do have that in our fail plan, don't we? If we
To
fail.
be a food critic?
Oh no, we were going to be bread bakers.
Yeah. But still. Okay, so you guys, Celeste and I came up with a fail plan that if Viper failed, then instead of doing anything else in life, because we'd be too tired, we would move to Italy and open up a bread shop.
Yes.
And bake bread all day and eat cheese.
Yes. And wine.
Yes.
Bread, cheese, and wine.
We would have.
Like Jesus.
Yes.
So honestly, like the second coming, I'm pretty sure that's what he did too.
She just said the second coming.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm on to something.
Yes. So we were going to move to Italy, and we were going to open up our bread shop next to a cheese shop, and then we were going to swap back and forth the cheese and the bread. I don't know where this cheese shop exists that we were then going to also open up our bread shop, but
It was
you know
just
what?
going to work together.
It was going to work. And then we would like to have siestas, and then we would
just like read books, drink wine.
and then on the weekends we could like travel to the countryside
yes.
and like lay out a blanket with our croissants. And like
I wasn't mad at this fail plan.
So like that way, the fail plan, if we failed, it's like, well, we wouldn't even be miserable.
Exactly.
Because this sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
win-win.
should we fail?
Always a possibility.
Yeah. So that was the fail plan.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So-
anyways, that is that. Now I'm going to read my favorite story. This is also Kelsey's favorite story. She used to ask me to read this to her before she would go to bed when we lived together.
Go ahead and let's explain what good or bad, hard to say means, where it came from.
This wasn't her favorite story,
No.
but I used to say it all the time when I heard it and drive her insane. Okay, so
I actually can remember the exact time, the first time you ever read me the story, where we were. I was in the driver's seat, you were in the passenger seat, and we were driving to a meeting. And I was like, where did that say? Because she kept saying, I don't know, good or bad, hard to say. And I was like, what does that even mean? And where did you make that up? She goes, no, dude, that's a saying. And I go, I don't think that is, because I don't think that is a saying. I think you made it up. She goes, no. So she Googled it, and she pulls up the story, and I'm driving to this meeting, and she reads me this like nursery rhyme. So go ahead, give us the story.
Now there's so much pressure.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Oh, you know who should put me on for this story is the Calm app. If they could hire me to read this, that's like maybe a new goal for me.
To be on the Calm app?
Yeah, to read this.
They have Matthew McConaughey.
I know. Same.
You think that your voice is as melodic as Matthew McConaughey?
Maybe.
Okay.
No, he has a good thing
We are
going.
taking a poll.
Okay, we are. Okay, you guys. There was a farmer who lost his horse. I can't do this without laughing right now. Okay. Okay.
But say it slow. There was a farmer who lost his horse.
Oh my God, I'm sweating. Okay, there was a farmer who lost his horse, and his neighbors came over to say, oh, that's too bad. And the farmer said, good or bad, hard to say. Days later, the horse returns and brings with it 7 wild horses, and the neighbors come over to say, oh, that's so good. And the farmer shrugs and says, good or bad, hard to say. The next day, the farmer's son rides one of the wild horses, is thrown off, and breaks his leg. And the neighbors say, oh, that's terrible luck. And the farmer says, good or bad, hard to say. Eventually, officers come knocking on people's doors, looking for men to draft for an army, and they see the farmer's son with his leg, and they pass on him. And the neighbors say, oh, that's great luck. And the farmer says, good or bad, hard to say.
So,
you guys, I love that. That just makes me so happy.
basically what the story means is that you assign a meaning. Mm-hmm. So we're so used to being like, oh, that's great luck, because that could end up turning bad. Or that's terrible luck. Or there could be a great outcome from a certain situation. Basically, we assign a meaning and a feeling to...
And we judge.
And we judge situations.
Mm-hmm. But really, like, I just love this because it's such a reminder that nothing in our life has any meaning except what we assign it. And like, that is so true. Like, how much time do we spend judging a situation? Even in our own life, there's been times where you and I have not gotten things that we wanted, and we wanted them so bad, or somebody walked out of a deal, or something happened, and you and I were like, damn, like, that sucks. Like, okay. And then down the road, we figure out, thank God we never went down that road. Thank God we never closed that deal. Thank God that this came up in our way. Because can you imagine? And so it's just such a good point that, like, nothing means anything, but we give it meaning. Like, we say, oh, that was a bad situation. Yeah. Oh, that was a good situation. Oh, that was this. Like, we judge everything. And so, good or bad, hard to say.
But that is kind of, I have not seen the movie Everything Everywhere, but that is kind of the meaning behind it, right? Like, nothing
That's the entire
anything.
Meaning. Yeah.
So, because someone else was telling me about the movie and how interesting it was to just like watch and be like, whoa, I feel very strange now. Like, I feel like...
Oh, you feel so weird afterwards.
Yeah.
It's funny because before I went to the movie, I was going to take an edible and I ended up not. And then I was like, thank God I did not take an edible before I saw that movie. Because you feel so weird after you see it. Because it really is about that. It's about the fact that nothing means anything. And if you want a different reality, change your feedback, right? Because what happens is we assign meaning. So I'm going to say that this situation X was bad. Well, now what did you do? You just took in the energy of something being bad. So now what happens when you go to situation Y? You're coming with that energy. So in order to switch that up, you have to change, your own feedback. How do we change our own feedback? We change the way we see a situation.
Yeah.
Well, now X was good. Okay, well, now I'm going to get different feedback. I'm going to carry out a different, I'm going to project differently. And so that movie really does that in like a funny way, but it is about that.
It's interesting that you say it because I had an extremely tough few, like probably like 6 days, like really, really hard where I thought, nothing actually was going wrong. I was under a lot of stress. I was exhausted. I had a ton of anxiety where like I couldn't pull myself out of anything, to the point where I was like, I think I'm just going to lay in bed for 4 days, because I literally couldn't think of anything else. And in the moment, it felt like my entire world was crumbling, but coming out of it, good or bad, hard to say, because I was able to now, not then, but now I'm able to kind of look at things and think, wow, okay, well, maybe I broke a couple bad patterns and maybe I came out stronger from that. So in the moment, it felt like my world was coming to an end. Right now, I'm feeling like, okay, that was awful, and I don't really want to have those days again. But I definitely feel like I broke down a couple internal barriers with myself. I feel like I broke a couple negative patterns, and I'm learning how to do telling myself a new narrative that I've been telling, the narrative that I've been telling myself for the last, probably 30 years of my life. I've had to stop telling myself. I have to learn new things internally. And I feel that could be a situation for me where I'm like, good or bad, hard to say. It really sucked. I can tell you right now, I don't wish that upon even my worst enemy, because it was really miserable. But coming out of it, and my stepdad said, he goes, I think that this moment is just going to make you a lot stronger.
Of course.
So
that's the thing too.
Whatever the meaning is that I decide to, give to that.
I always think about that, because like those moments suck. Like anything you go through, heartbreak, anxiety, depression, losing somebody, losing a job, whatever it is. But those, when you look back, like that is what makes you who you are. Like there's so many people that are thriving in their careers, and when you ask them, how'd you get to now? They tell you this origin story of what they had to go through to get there. And so in a way, it's like, maybe we're thankful for those moments, because that is maybe what built our character. Maybe that is what made us who we are. And maybe that called our attention on something that we needed, And there's, I think it's Abraham Hicks. It probably is, just because she says everything that's the best. But she says how when problems come up, they come up because they're calling your attention to a solution. And she says how for any problem that comes up in your reality is equal to a solution. And so, when it comes up, it's to strengthen your desire for what you want, because sometimes we're ignoring it, or sometimes we're like not paying attention to like strengthening our desire for something. And she says how the universe will always match where your attention flows. But if you're maybe stuck in a cycle because your attention is flowing in one direction, the universe sometimes needs to get your attention and needs to say, I need you to focus your flow in this direction.
Yeah.
And so she says sometimes when things come up, it's really because we need you to strengthen your desire for what you actually want. And so I'm trying to adopt that perspective. Actually, I'm not even trying. I have adopted that perspective, that's what it's for. Like, oh, where's the solution then? Where should I be looking instead of looking at this like this way?
No, but it is very challenging, because when you're living in a moment, even with the farmer from the story, he very easily could have assigned that exact same meaning to any situation that everyone was telling him, good luck, bad luck. But he just chose to be like, we just don't really know what the outcome's going to be yet. So we're not assigning anything to anything.
See, good or bad, hard to say. We just don't know. But it is true. Your narrative does reaffirm your reality. We say this all the time. And I also think that our past relationships, this is something I notice a lot, like that is all going to be up to our perspective of it. Like, and it's also important to be self-aware of your perspective, because you have to know, what are you carrying into your next one? If you've dated people and your story is just going to be, all men are trash or all women are trash because of your past relationships, then you're going to continue to get that cycle. That's your feedback loop. Whatever your feedback loop is whatever is going to continue to come up.
Which I feel like this past weekend, my feedback loop, depending on whatever higher power you believe in, I was being told you need to break some really unhealthy habits, and there's patterns and narratives that you need to change. So we're going to make it really hard on you. and I got served.
Well, I think, also like the saying, God throws a pebble, then he throws a brick. And it's just because like
that brick, it hit me hard. Like on the side of the head, like in the temple area. Yeah. He like really wailed that son of a bitch at me.
It's happened to me too. I think we get small signs. We get like the universe communicates with you, or God, or, whatever you choose to call it, believe in. But I think that there is communication there. And when you ignore it or don't pay attention or don't fix something or whatever, then God throws a pebble and then he throws a brick. Because then it's like, hey, I'm going to, and how many times have literally probably anybody and anybody listening, yourself included, something happens, it's a horrible situation, and then what? It changes your life for the better every time. You get out of you get out of bad relationship, you go through the worst heartache, worst heartbreak, and then what? You're stronger because of it. You're more knowledgeable because of it. You get out of a really bad job situation and then you go launch a different career. Like, it's always something.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he texted me, and he's going through some stuff, and he's like, life, being an adult is really hard. I was like, it is really hard. Like, you don't really have, there's not a handbook on it. I mean, there are, but there's not. You know what I mean? Like, no one gives you step by step on how to handle certain situations. And I said, it's crazy because throughout life, you have to make certain changes as you're going through life. But everything seems really effing scary. You're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just supposed to make these changes, and I know it's for the better, but like, I don't really know what's on the other side of this. Like, what if it sucks? And then he said, he goes, it's always really scary to make the changes, but when you're on the other side, you're always like, that wasn't really that bad. I kind of just was being a bitch.
Yeah. Well, I think too, like 20s and mid 20s to mid 30s, I think has to be the hardest, in my opinion, because I'm like, before that, you're a kid, you have your parents. After that, you're a real adult.
Yeah, you have rules.
You're like a real adult. But in in between, like for me, I'm like, it's my first time living on my own. I pay all, whatever. We've been financially independent for a while, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't like necessarily get easier. We also own a business. So all the time I'm like, I'm in charge of my life and other people's lives. I'm responsible. I need supervision. Like, who's the more adultier adult here? Because I live by myself and it's just me and it freaks me out.
Like, I don't even want to kill a spider sometimes. No. How am I supposed to like manage my credit score?
Thank you.
I'm like, what? Taxes?
And then the pressure of that, sometimes I'm like, okay, holy shit. Like, how am I supposed to do all of this and also like heal my shadow self and my trauma and go to therapy and
I just
get my car
ignorant.
washed?
Honestly, there are serious days where I'm like, I just want to be ignorant. I just want to walk around not knowing anything.
I understand that sentence now. Ignorance is bliss. It truly is.
Oh my gosh, it's great.
I meet some people and I'm like, this is why your life is good.
Yeah, because you know what? We've spent a long time judging those people, but I'm like, but really, are you? I think you're winning.
Yeah.
I think the other day, I was just like driving past someone a homeless person who was very clearly on drugs. And I was like, but are you winning or am I? Because honestly, you don't have a care in the world right now. And I have all the cares and I don't want to have any. So I was like, I think you might be winning this one. I gotta tell you.
It's true.
Like, I just was like, this is hard. Life, this is hard.
No, it definitely is. But I've actually been thinking about this whole concept a lot for the past 2 weeks, because I've been also trying to just get out of my own way and also really working on how do I explain this? Okay, so I've really been working on what I allow into my reality. Because for a long time, I was allowing I was spinning my wheels on things that I didn't even want to be part of, right? Like, I was like, I want to vibrate on the level of perfect health, of success, of abundance, of all of this. But I would, get in conversations with my friends that were about the opposite. Or I would like be on social media taking in information about the opposite. So lately, like, what I've been trying to do is kind of similar to the woman who was high digging through trash, being in her own world.
She was living her life.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to be on that type of time in a different way. So I've been trying to like really be in my own world. And I'm like, what do I allow in my world? Okay, I only allow the highest vibrational level of health. I only allow, this, and this. So even when people talk to me, like when friends talk to me or they talk about just things that are just low vibrational, just like nonsense, like straight nonsense, I will be able to like sit there, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to cleanse my space after and just like move on. And even when I see things on social media, immediately, like if I see something that's just like toxic, I'm like scrolling past it. And I've really been trying to even just get to the place where I'm like disinterested and I don't even want the part of the toxicity anymore, which is a big deal for me, y'all, because I used to be 1/3 toxic and I'm really working on it.
I'm sorry. You just said you used to be 1/3 toxic?
Yes, because as of this past week or so, I'm really working on not even being interested in any level of toxicity and raising all parts of what I intake and like changing my energy, changing what I put out, changing my feedback loop. I've been on this journey for the past 7 to 10 days. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm cured.
Oh. She said she's cured.
Listen, on a superficial level, toxic tendencies might come back. Mm-hmm. But on a grand scheme of things, mm-hmm. I'm on my high vibrational
that's great
journey.
Okay. I love this for you. This is really amazing.
Good or bad, hard to say, Kelsi. Good or bad, hard to say.
Listen, I do think it's hard. I've been going back and forth between Utah and here a little bit more. And I have recently discovered kind of taking myself mm-hmm. out of LA like a little bit more. LA is really toxic.
Okay.
And it's hard because I know you were born and raised here.
Right.
So you have a very like strong relationship base.
It's also just a different frame of reference for me because I don't know anything else.
Yes.
So it's like I don't really have the comparison
LA
as much.
is really toxic.
Okay.
I had got off Instagram for a week. Like mm-hmm. I think I got on just to check if anyone was DMing me, only because I needed to make sure like if there was anything I needed to get back to, right. whether it was work wise or it was urgent, that I would get back to people. But I got off of Instagram for a week, and it is crazy mm-hmm. the amount. I don't think when you're living here, I think we forget how much we're consuming. Mm-hmm. Whether it be, pop culture, mm-hmm. news, the amount of money we're supposed to be making, mm-hmm. the way we're supposed to look, it is not super healthy. Mm-hmm. I do think I have a love-hate relationship with LA. It has taught me so much. I am so grateful for every opportunity mm-hmm. that I've been given. I'm super grateful to have lived here, to have learned. Yeah. But it's a toxic city to live in. And it's not and friends that I talk to who were not born and raised here, mm-hmm. they're like, dude, this shit's hard. Yeah. It's hard here.
It's also, I think, our industry doesn't help.
No.
It's not like we're in, farming, which is probably, I don't know, maybe more peaceful, but we're in nightlife and.
Well, they're probably stressed out because like the rain.
It's true. They're stressed out about a lot of other things, GMOs, all of that. But no, I get that. It's a different perspective than I hold only because I grew up here. So I'm like the worst person to ask. But I will say that even growing up here, being like in a social life that we live, I do meet people and I am like, how do you survive?
Yeah.
Like I think this city just brings in a very unique type of person. Mm-hmm. And so they can be really hit or miss. Some of the best people I've ever met are here. And then some of the worst people I've ever met are here. And I think it's just because like LA from like an attraction standpoint, like I don't know, it just brings in such a unique type of person.
Well, it brings in people who are just trying to make it. Mm-hmm. They want to make it big, whatever that means to them in whatever industry it really is, that they're just trying to make it.
Right.
So I think that you get a lot of people who like don't really know themselves.
Right.
So they're just trying to just kind of fit in wherever they can because like no one wants to be on their own.
I think also on that note, if you're just trying to make it, I've run into this a few times, especially owning a business where we hire people. There could be a level of being really selfish because you're just trying to make it. And if you're really selfish, that's going to affect me if I'm in some sort of a dynamic with you, friendship, relationship, boss, anything. So if you're out here because you're just trying to focus on your dreams and then when my time is now involved with you, that's what I've run into a lot with friends or just with different things where I'm like, wait, what? Like, so this is just your show then, you know? I grew up here, so I didn't move here to make it, right? Like I was just from here, so it's different. But
and your friend group that you grew up around, they're like, you have a solid friend group of people that like your childhood friends you're still so close with. And they're good people. Like they also grew up here, so they're not trying to make it. Like they have a job, they live their day-to-day lives, they're doing their thing. Yeah. But it's hard.
Yeah, because there's some times where I'm like, what? And then there's another thing that people do, and this one really drives me crazy just because I am such like a spiritual person, is they almost like lean on like this LA version of spirituality to like modify or like to eradicate or like cover up like what are just character flaws. Have you noticed this? Like it's not because, you know, you were just doing some weird growth meditation. Like, no, these are just character flaws that you need to work through. Like, stop blaming spirit. I swear, I don't know what this is about in LA, where it's like, oh, well, you know, this is just, I'm super late. I'm 2 hours late to our meeting because I was so deep in meditation. No, you're 2 hours late because you need to fix some shit in your life. Or like, but I've noticed this a lot where it's like, oh, I can't, you know, I can't do that right now because I'm really working through my childhood trauma or whatever it is. I'm like, no, these are character flaws. Don't blame spirituality.
There was a meme that you sent me. I have to read it. Okay. You said, I don't even know. DM'd it to me on Instagram. Due to foreseen circumstances well within my control, I will be late. It's like, just take ownership. You're late.
That's
it is
the
what
thing.
It is.
Okay, it's taking ownership is what it is. That is what I've noticed about being in LA, that with people I've come into contact with, is there's a lot, with some people, there's a lack of accountability, and they blame like spiritual concepts, which really doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, you know, this is not my fault. It's my childhood trauma. This is not my fault. It's my whatever version. It's my inner child. Like,
yeah. Or how about you just suck?
Like, take some ownership of your issues. Stop blaming spirituality. Okay. Like, that's insane to me, but it's such an LA thing. I don't think that other people in other places do it.
No, I gotta tell you, Sal.
Like, oh, I'm just a fucked up. I cheated on you because my chakras were blocked. Okay, that's the shit we deal with here.
No, LA is just weird.
You cheated because you have things to work on. Yeah. Like, you're being a shitty person. Like, oh, it was just my sacral chakra wasn't functioning at its highest vibration, and so that is why I ran you over.
I will comment on this. Some of the most toxic, unhealthy people I have met have been the most spiritual, and I'm saying that like with like quotes around it.
It drives me insane.
Yeah, it's pretty wild because it almost then turns me off from spirituality in a sense when you're talking to them, because I'm like, what? Like, you have some serious screwed up friendships, romantic relationships. You have really bad self-esteem, and yet you're claiming you blame everything on the moon.
That's the other one. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. I was literally the biggest asshole in the world. Mercury was in retrograde. I don't fucking care. Like, how do the planets have anything to do with you just being a toxic person?
No. Listen, some days are harder than others. Don't get me wrong. I'm here for that, but
it's crazy.
I have noticed, based off of like when I was literally thinking about this yesterday, the people that I have met in my life that are constantly preaching spirituality, posting about it, have taught me certain things, which I'm grateful for. But I've looked at them now and I'm thinking, your life blows. Yeah. And you are really shitty. So I think I'm good.
Yeah,
and I feel so it makes me feel like I think I'm just gonna do my own thing.
No, it's like so true. That is the one thing I really will like. Listen, I love LA. LA is my city forever. But that is one thing that I could really agree with, is like this phony, like weird spirituality. I don't know. Just one last thing is like the only hitting you when they need something. That's another thing that's big in LA. I don't know if that's like that in other places because I haven't lived anywhere else, or maybe it's just our industry. I'm not sure.
I honestly, I can't say. It's hard because I've been here for almost 10 years. So my frame of reference in my adult years is only here. But I really do think like, about my mom. My mom's constantly like going out of her way to do like nice things for other people without expecting anything in return. Yeah. And I do think maybe they don't really do it. I don't really know. Actually, maybe I'm just full of shit. I don't really know. But I don't know. I would imagine that we really do just get hit up in this industry of like, I'll only hit you when I need you.
Yeah. That is something I have noticed over the years that I think is kind of weird. Because I just don't do that. So it's a little strange to me.
Yeah, like if I needed something from you and I hadn't talked to you in a while, I would probably go about it in a certain way.
Right.
Or
I'd probably be really straight
or I
up.
just like wouldn't hit you.
I just wouldn't ask. Like I just think I would just.
If it were something like that I really needed, I might go about it being like, hey, I know we haven't spoken in a little while.
Yeah.
Even acknowledging it. Right. Sometimes like if someone were to hit me and be like, hey, we haven't talked in a minute.
Right.
But I have a favor to ask you. Would it be possible?
Just like the honest.
I would be like, I would be way more receptive to that. Right. Versus someone being like, hey, how's it going? So I miss you.
That's my favorite.
How is everything?
That is my favorite. Oh my God, this is literally verbatim. That's my favorite text to get. Miss you. So can me and my 18,000 friends come to your party tomorrow? Like, do you miss me? Really?
Yeah, that's a wild one for sure.
No, it's so funny.
LA, sometimes like, again, love hate, because like sometimes you suck.
No, listen, I'm a bad person to ask because I love LA. I always will. But I get what you're saying and I understand it because it's also just people I run into. I'm like.
And it is, when you're not from here, it is hard to find your circle.
I'm sure it is.
Because my circle of people in LA is very small. Yeah. Like the people I can rely on, the people I like want, genuinely desire to hang out with. I have a friend of mine who she has 3 kids, and I hit her today and I was talking to her and I was like, dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm super sorry. I've been a shit friend. Yeah. Because I haven't like been checking up on her like I should. I have been like in my own world that I should have taken myself out, but she's literally, I consider her to be one of my closest friends. Right. But I hit her and I told her, I was like, I've been a shitty friend to you and I'm super sorry because I should have been checking in on you more. Right. But it's hard. It's hard to find those close people. And then when you do, you have to keep them. And not everyone can do that.
It's also hard with our work. I mean, it's hard to keep any relationship right now for me because I'm like, I'm always going to forget to answer. I'm never going to show up to things. Like just right now, like it won't be like that forever, but it is tough. I definitely hear from my girlfriends. I get like the salty responses and I'm like, ooh, I'm in trouble. I'm going to work on that. Okay, well, any last remarks?
No, I think I've talked everyone's ear off.
Well, okay. Ending the episode with our fave, sexy. What's the sexiest thing to you this week?
So my man's was here last weekend and I realized that he makes me do things that I probably wouldn't do on my own. Like he made me jump out of a tree. Why I was even climbing the tree to begin with, I don't know. Okay. We climbed trees. He made me jump off the tree. He would tell you that the tree that I jumped out of was not super high. Okay. I was terrified. And I was like, please, I need a piggyback. And he's like, no, just jump. You're going to do it. And I was like, I don't want to. And then he also made me jump in the ocean into the waves. I would never go do something like that. I actually don't think I've ever jumped into the ocean.
Neither have I.
Ever. But for you. But I realized that it made me like really appreciative of him being like, no, you're going to do this. And guess what? Jumping out of that big small tree was really fun, and jumping into the ocean was like, wow, that was great. Why don't I do more like adventurous things like that? Which some people might say that jumping out of a small big tree and jumping into a wave in the ocean is not adventurous, but for me, like gets me out of my comfort zone. And so that was something to me that was like really, I found really like sexy in him, that I was like, oh wow, you're like really pulling it out of me.
I love that.
So that's fine.
We're so here for that. Cute. Not arms this week. Sad day.
No, not this. I mean,
she's like, they're always.
I mean, it's always a thing. It's not like it ever goes away. It just means that like I just found something. I feel like I shouldn't always talk about the arm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that for you. Okay. My sexy this week is why are you? Okay, I can't do this with you in person. Why are you laughing?
I'm just waiting. Well, the look you gave was okay. Mine this week, like I was like, what? So I'm nervous. Like you're gonna be like, are you telling me like a Christmas trees like you did?
I said holidays one time, and I was going through a lot. I think I was going through a breakup at the time.
It doesn't matter to me. I will never let you live that down.
Okay, mine is this balance of calm energy, like somebody bringing in very calm energy. I don't know why.
I'm literally not doing anything.
You guys, if you're listening to this on audio, she just keeps looking at me and smiling.
I'm just paying attention. I don't know what you're talking
and
about.
I don't know why she just keeps smiling. Okay, I'm going to look somewhere else right now. I'm going to look against the wall. So anyways, just like very like calm, like melodic energy actually.
So is this coming from you or is this energy coming from someone else?
Like from somebody else.
Oh, okay.
And I think that the reason that I'm very here for this right now is because, so I'm very intuitive. I pick up energy very fast. Like you don't have to tell me anything. I just feel it just naturally. And I can also feel insecurity. And we all can. I think you're also super perceptive on energy. And so to have, as a man, to actually have calm energy, you have to be very secure. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if it's necessarily the calmness or it's the security or it's the combination, but I do really like that because I don't know, it kind of allows me to slow down a little bit and be softer and be in like my soft girl era, which I really vibe with because day to day, I'm not in that. I'm like running 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like we're always working, we're always up. I'm always like thinking about something. And so to find that though, like a very calm, secure energy is it's melodic. Like it's very peaceful. And I'm very into it because I'm like, wow, this allows me to like slow down. And for me, like, sensuality for me does come from a place of slowing down, like rushing. We've talked about this before. I actually hate rushing in general. And something that makes me feel more feminine is when I don't rush, like when I move slower. And so this is like a very good balance for me, like a very calm, peaceful energy.
Great. That was a great
She's smiling again, you guys.
That was a great sexy. I approve.
Okay, you guys. Well, next week will be just me because she keeps smiling over there. So this is now a one-person show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please.
If you want to see me smile, you can go on our YouTube and watch this.
That was a great little plug-in right there. You guys, please rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, give us 5 stars. You can find us on social media at Smart as Sexy. Thanks, y'all. Adios.